leadership. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and success of freedom. We will not waver, we will not tire, we will not falter, and we will not fail. Peace and freedom will prevail. All gave some gave all.
Now I'm going to start this off. My wife's going to kill me, but I wrote this down. She's sitting up there in front and we'll wave her hand at me. My lovely wife, Brittany Sue, posed a very good question to me yesterday concerning Memorial Day. And I'm sorry, honey, I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but this was a great question. She asked me, what's the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day? It's a simple question in itself, and a question I've asked myself for years, especially before my war experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a question that I'm sure is common to many people, but a question I've never really been prepared to answer. I said, well, honey, the difference is that Memorial Day is a somber day of remembrance and a reflection for those we've lost. And Veterans Day is a celebration of those who've survived and lived. Well, the answer made me think. It made me think about how Memorial Day is also a day of celebration, but a day that has special meaning for veterans and especially myself. Every day is Memorial Day for me. Every day is spent thinking about the experiences I have that have forever changed the very making of who I am. Every day my mind is occupied with those I've led, those I've lost, and those I've tried to save. Every day I think about the what-ifs concerning my leadership in combat, and every day I spend time wishing I were back. Every day I force myself to replay the sounds of my men's voices and personality traits in an attempt to remember everything about them. To do any less would be a disservice to their memory. Every single morning I wake up, I clear my head of the previous night's dreams of fighting on a far-off battlefield, reliving both the beauties and horrors of war. Most of the times these dreams are for myself, but sometimes I know my wife hears me. I know this because I feel her comforting touch rouse me into semi-consciousness, allowing me to dream about things for the present. Memorial Day was created so people can see how we feel every day. It allows others a glimpse into our souls and allows them to feel the way we feel every time we see an American flag. Today allows them to live on our shoes for 24 hours and then returns them to their lives without the constant guilt of survival or the shameful experiences of terror. This day allows everyone to be on an even playing field regardless how we experience the war. For non-veterans, this is in no way a ding for not serving in the military. As a matter of fact, it is just the opposite. The fact that you sleep soundly in your bed for 364 days means that we, the veterans, the fallen, have done our job. I may not be able to speak for all veterans who have fought and lost, but the majority will agree when I say that the memories and dreams I have, both good and bad, allow me to hold on to the men I will never see again. These memories and this day reinforce why I decided to fight and sacrifice from the beginning. Today is a day of remembrance for those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. Today marks a day when our nation can mourn and celebrate the lives of those who have loved and lost. We have loved and lost. I want you to go in peace today. Let's take a moment and look at the American flag and reflect. When you reflect, I want you to stop and look at the stars and stripes in awe as I do. When you stand there, close your eyes and let the thought pass that you have given your life for the people you love and hold most dear. Feel the emotions of never seeing them again. Remember who they are. Remember how they act and think about what they would have become. Now open your eyes. Open your tear-filled eyes and stare at the 5x8 piece fought through my eyes. See it in our eyes. The last thing you must do is simple. Go back to your families and celebrate. Sleep soundly in your bed tonight, and tomorrow when you wake, be mindful of the veterans, but go back to normal life. This is what the fallen want. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Lieutenant Adams.
You know, we've probably all seen a bumper sticker, you know, that says, if you can read this, thank a teacher. You know, if you're reading this in English, thank a soldier. And I rarely get my material for speeches from bumper stickers, but there's a lot of truth in that statement. There's a lot of truth in that statement. So I think it, again, is a day of service to get together and think about those military members that have lost their life, and we honor them when we get together and we think about the camaraderie that we'll have and the wreath laying. It's more than ceremonial, because we'll talk about individuals that we served with that are no longer with us, and their remembrances go on, and they live with us, and they live with the stories we tell each other. And especially, you know, all of those who and many, if not most, out there now have all served in combat operations. And the loss in combat makes the loss even tougher, because it's on distant shores. And I won't go into, the lieutenant kind of touched on that, so with personal stories of those we've lost, and it's all important to remember. The soldiers, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, Marines that we have today, not only that have lost their lives in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Horn of Africa. There's more going on in the Horn of Africa than you might realize. The current fights in Afghanistan, the future fights in Africa. But we've been at war for 11 years. We have a lot of veterans that are coming back, some that did not come back, some that are coming back, and are coming back to Central Florida. So we need to commit to that life of service, or this day of service certainly, and remember about those veterans that are coming back. We celebrate their lives, and it's absolutely that commitment. Those veterans need jobs. Those veterans need health care. Those veterans need community support. They also need the support they've been promised. Job assistance is absolutely critical to young people coming back. Health care is an issue, and there's nobody out here that hasn't heard the challenges with PTSD or traumatic brain injury. Something that years ago we didn't, as veterans, didn't have to deal with, because most of those casualties never survived off the battlefield. But with advances in medicine, with advances in technology, to get that golden hour to get a wounded Marine or soldier on the battlefield, a wounded warfighter, 1 hour, get him in the hospital, they can get the treatment they need, and we've got a lot more veterans that are coming home today that normally would not have in years gone past. But health care is critical for retirees also. That's why that Lake Nona facility is so important. The other thing with our veterans, and especially the retirees, of which I'll soon become one, I suppose, and I don't want this statement to sound self-serving, but preserving the buying power of those retirees' pensions is critical. So I guess, and to wrap up my comments right now, I would just like to remind everybody that Memorial Day is for those that didn't come back, and we'll honor those family members that sacrificed by losing a family member. But commit this to be a day of service. Protect all those that have served well and faithfully, and let's honor their memories of the ones that we've lost. Thank you very much.
I didn't come here today with prepared remarks. I came here to be with you today. I want to thank all our men and women who served and have served our country so well. And also to remember those who have fallen and their families. Let us never forget that they and you have served so that we can be free. And they did pay the ultimate sacrifice. It is important that we remember, and it's even more important that we keep their families in our prayers. As most of you know, I'm a military family person. I was born into a World War II Korean War veterans family, my father. And my brother went off to Nam. I joined the Air Force. My brother was Army. My dad was Navy Coast Guard. I have 2 Marines for children and a husband that's in the sailor. So we consider the military very important to our family. But we also recognize it's very important to our country and the very freedoms that we are allowed to enjoy every day. It's because of you and the men and women who continue to serve. And I can't say anything better than either one of these fine gentlemen have said today. Colonel Smith, Lieutenant Galvin, you make us all proud. Thank you all so much. Let us never forget our fallen and their families. Thank you.